The shit's chess, it ain't checkers.
Are you aware that you're a black king?
No.
You're not aware that you're a black king?
You just made me aware. So.
See? And that's part of the problem. As that black man, especially in this country, you don't realize that you're a black king, and you are.
Thank you.
Would you be at all uncomfortable if my beta 60 cuck back here showed his respect and bent down on all fours and kissed the ground in front of your feet, or your feet themselves, to show his respect? You're obviously his superior, so.
I don't mind. I do not mind.
Thank you. All right, little bit. On all fours. Now I want.
What's good? What's good? Decided to come online to break the monotony. Kind of entertain myself through entertainment, thus entertaining you. Providing you an outlet that you probably need, because basically everybody's life is basically full of shit. all of the people that was live was like, man, I need to create my own content for my own entertainment purposes. You know what I'm saying? And I decided to go live. No shade to them. It's just, when you're not really truly being yourself, you really not truly living life. The day you start living life is the day you be yourself. When you basically faking and breaking and all that shit, basically you setting yourself short. You setting yourself short, and you setting others, short. You know what I'm saying? Got to deal with your problems, So I'm gonna play a game of chess. I'm gonna also drop the link if you want to talk. You know what I'm saying? You got something to say. You know what I'm saying? Anything, it's all good. I ain't really tripping. Whatever you want to talk about, the link is there. Also, the economy is struggling, man. If you're doing better than me, you know what I'm saying? It's just a reminder.
And they're about to cry. I'm broke. I'm really a broke nigga, yo. I'm really a broke nigga. I'm really a broke nigga.
Yeah, so anyway, any support is greatly appreciated. I'm gonna play a couple games of chess, see how the night goes. I'm just gonna get right into it. So we playing India right now. Haven't been to India yet. It's kind of a lot going on in India. It's a lot of, one of the things about India that I do know is that just like kind of like Africa, a lot of different countries are like this, where basically the septic systems is not great. The septic systems are not great. And it has like a third world type of flair. Even though India itself as a country, it really shouldn't be a third world country. Like India really shouldn't be, third world. But here's the reason why. This is one of the reasons why India is third world, even though India has quite a bit of technology. They have a very robust and rising economy. The reason why India is third world is because the difference between India and China, for example, is that basically India is it's a democracy, but it's not a very effective democracy. Reason being is basically India is a democracy with a very strong caste system. Okay, a very strong caste system where basically if you're not um, on the upper crust of that caste system, basically you're considered pretty much an outcast. You're pretty much an outcast in many ways. So because of that caste system, you have a situation where people just basically have a society based off of every man for himself. It's basically every man for himself. So in that type of scenario, that every man for himself scenario, basically that doesn't help the country. That doesn't help the entire country. With that type of model, it doesn't help. It doesn't help with that country. Like the country in its whole essence, it doesn't help that you have a country that basically the caste system is more important. Following the caste system is more important than the country. That's a big problem. So basically that holds the country back, the country of India back, because basically no one wants to fix the roads of the poor country, poor parts of the country. Nobody wants to really build for the whole country, because it's like, okay, the poor people basically are considered outcasts, so it's like they don't really pretty much have any care for the entire country. So like, for example, it's similar. It's like that in different parts of the country, parts of the world. America is like that too. Like, for example, every year, okay, we coming up on a serious, national election year, right? And basically there's always these promises. We're gonna do this and we're gonna do that, and all of that type of stuff. And basically it's a pack of lies. very much the the country um doesn't care about the poor parts of the world. They don't really care too much about the poor parts of the world either. They just don't really care. They don't have to care. So, but the taxes do um support those poor communities. They do support those communities. In India, they don't. It's not like that. It's just not like that at all. Yeah, he's advanced his queen, so yeah, yeah, that's pretty much a losing situation right there. Oh, what's going on? You say, yo, I want to play a game after this. Yeah, let me give my name, my actual chess.com name. Shoot, you welcome to play me. I don't know who you are. That's my chess.com um username or whatever. But basically, in short, um India India, unlike China, they um they put all of their differences aside, and it's like basically one China. Okay. Basically communist, social regime, with elements of capitalism in there. They basically, the government plans things and then they get it done. India doesn't work like that. India is pretty much every man for himself, and that's like it is in a lot of different countries in Africa. Basically, it sets everybody back. It sets the whole country back with that model, because that model does not work really well. Even the United States has that same model. In an eminent domain. Basically, the government thinks that it's best to fix some roads or expand a highway. The government supersedes um, local citizens by processes of eminent domain. So like basically the government will step in and they will, basically fix some type of road or change some type of um, some type of road or something like that. They'll do that through eminent domain. They'll absolutely do that. So I messed up already. I gave up my queen, did not protect my queen, and suffered dearly for that. But he gave me his he gave me his queen. So I'm not necessarily tripping. So he's got Carl Magnuson as his avatar. Carl Magnuson is like one of the most one of the best chess players in the world. So it's like a big deal, chess player. I've studied some of Carl's moves. He's a pretty good chess player. But yeah, that's the thing with India. Like, they have all of these different just, I guess, what you want to call them, groups or whatever, different sects of caste systems and stuff like that. And basically, it's just all of that type of stuff. It just doesn't help when it comes to trying to rebuild government or have a better type of government. It just doesn't help. Does not help at all. So basically, that's what that's what holds India back, as well as other countries. Just one of the many ways they're held back. And it's going to be like that. It's going to be like that for a long time. That is not going to change. You're talking about 10,000 years, over 10,000 years of wars and different sex and people and stuff like that. Like, that's not going to change. It's no change in sight that's going to happen where they just automatically going to start caring about other people and all of that type of shit. They're just not going to do that. It's just not that's not what's going to happen. So it just is what it is. he actually had a move on me. He could have put me in a check, and he could have had the queen basically. I mean, he could have had my rook. So that's a good move right there. So that was a really good move. Now, I'm only down by 1 point. He didn't see that coming. That's a rare, thing, a rare move, very rare. Normally don't come back from situations like that. Normally don't come back. But he still has an advantage because, basically he still has 2 pawns. I don't have any pawns, but I have a strong basically situation here. But I don't have that many minutes either. So I gotta be careful. Yeah, he got me. But he don't really have that much time, so I just gotta try to do what I can. Yeah. Oh, tried that one. I don't know. Uh, let's see here. Oh, that's crazy. Oh, this dude he ain't wrapped too tight. This guy ain't wrapped too tight. I don't know what the hell this dude doing. This guy's good. I ain't gonna lie. That's pretty good. Shit. I'm in a situation now. The fuck? Oh, shit. Fuck. Damn. Shit. Got caught up in a fucking trap. So we back in India again, playing India. So lost 3. Basically, yeah. Just kind of playing. Actually this yeah, this I just caught that this basically this the um the actual um uh the rook, he was trapped. He was actually trapped. Let's see here. I don't really have too much choice in this matter because basically he's got me in a check position. So what I'll do is I'll just do that. See if he'll just. I knew he wasn't gonna do that. He didn't have to, So basically, he's up two now. He's pretty much up two. So gotta be real careful. So let's see what I could do. I really got nothing else I can do, really. His king can't come over. So it's really not much he could do. So well, he could move that way. So so it's not too much he could do. So it's not too much. So it's like not too much he could do, really. Yeah, I don't know what it is, man. I don't know what it is. but it's just some bad games for some reason. I mean, before I came online, I was fine. I was winning. I'm like, damn, what the hell? What's the difference? Only difference is I'm talking. I mean, that's about it. Yeah, okay. All right. I might have my first win of the night. Oh my God. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's like I might have my first win of the night. First win of the evening. Let's checkmate there. So I got my first win of the night after 4 losses. Let's see if we can have some retribution. I don't have anybody joining. So we've been playing someone from Italy. Ooh, I missed it. Godly. Oh, shoot. All right. So I got my second win. Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah, he messed up. Now we playing with somebody from Chile. I don't really know that much about Chile at all. I just know it. I know it's in South America. Really, I don't really know that much about it. So wait. How did he abort the game and not take a loss? Wait, hold on. Hold on. So it seems I lost server connection. I don't know. Seems like I lost connection to the server. Let's see here. Let's try this again. Seems like it's something going on with the server or something. I don't know. Something going on with the server. So I guess I'll stop that. I'll just I'll see if the server will start again or whatever. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, I don't really have too much to talk about. I mean, basically, obviously there's a war with Iran and Israel. First, Israel dropped a bomb on one of Iran's embassy, killed some people. So Iran launched a whole bunch of drones armored drones with missiles. Most of them were basically thwarted by the Israel's missile defense team. Israel has like one of the best missile defenses in the world. It really is not too many places that have missile defense like Israel. Um, Basically, they thwarted most of those missiles that were landed in Israel, and then basically Israel landed some missiles. I think within the last 24 hours, they launched some missiles at Iran. So it's really crazy. One of the things I noticed was cryptos. The prices of the crypto market has definitely dropped. The market as far as oil, I haven't really noticed any like uptick on oil yet. Um, I don't know why. Usually when those conflicts happen, crude oil goes up. It's gone up, but only a 1 percentage point. The markets definitely have dropped. The market, because of the Mideast tension, they say they blame that for the market dropping. So Tesla is falling because they haven't been too popular in the last 5 days. In the last, let's say 5 days. Let me look at the 5 day. So yeah, they dropped. They got a low of like 147 compared to they was at 172, and then they dropped to 148. So yeah, they laid off a bunch of people. So the people that shorted Tesla, they actually are making money. If people had if people had calls on Tesla, they made some money because Tesla dropped pretty significantly. Looked like about 20% roughly from just looking at it. They dropped about 20%. So whoever was doing Tesla calls, I mean, not Tesla calls, Tesla puts. I mean Tesla puts. If people are doing Tesla puts, they made some money because Tesla is gone down. I don't know if it's going to continue to go down or will it be going back up. But yeah, because of this war, this Mideast, all these Mideast conflicts, the market has dropped. The market, basically is only thing is up is gold and crude oil. Basically, the cryptos fell. Cryptos is falling. Bitcoin fell. Let's see. Yeah. It was up today by about a percentage point, but the last 5 days, it's dropped from like 66,000 and 62,000. Same thing with Dogecoin, Shiba. It's a lot of other tokens that I don't know. Like it's a lot of altcoins that I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't really know that much about. Like I'm not really heavily into crypto. I do. I'm probably about as much as in crypto as I am in the markets. I'm trying to get back into forex. That's my goal for this year to get back into forex. And when I say get back into forex, I'm gonna try to get back heavy. I'm gonna try to basically kind of focus a little bit more money and attention into forex this year because I never really did that. I never put a lot of money in forex. Like in the markets, stock markets, I probably put as much as I remember having as much as like a few $1,000s in the markets before in my brokerage account. Um, I've never really did too much into forex. It's just I put like gas money and coffee money in forex. So I'm probably gonna try to do some more things with that. Um, yeah, man, it seems like it's just I don't know, man. It's a lot of misery out here, man. I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess people are kind of looking for entertainment. They're looking for some type of escapism. I don't necessarily know if I provide that escapism that people need. I don't know. I don't know if I provide that. All I can say is that it just seems like they trying to replay maybe 2008 again. They're laying off so many people. It seems like they're trying to like replay 2008 again. They want like another crash or something. I don't know. I don't really know what's in the works. I mean, people still making money. A lot of people are making money. People are still paying high price of rent, and the mortgage rates are still high. I noticed that the mortgage rates are still high, and rent is obviously still high as well. No downtick as far as of late. Then I heard a report this today that well, actually it'll be yesterday, that BlackRock basically is starting to buy up a lot of houses in Canada. And then it was another report that I saw, and that was yesterday as well, where a lot of homes in the greater Atlanta area are are basically corporate owned or government. I mean, not so much government, but corporate owned structures, meaning they don't. Typical houses are owned by people, right? That's typically how that goes. Well, they're saying a lot of houses in Atlanta are corporate owned. They're renting out houses to people, basically buying up a lot of the real estate and renting it out to people. So that's very interesting. I don't know how many corporate owned structure or real estate is in Illinois, but they're saying in the Atlanta area there's a lot of corporate owned houses. And it basically that drives up the housing costs right there. That basically drives up. If anything that drives up the housing costs is corporate. You know, if you got a whole bunch of corporations that's buying up real estate, you know, that's gonna drive the prices up. You know, through the roof. You know, that's one of the companies that I know. I think is it National Home Rentals? Home Rentals. Yeah, National Home Rentals, right? So this company here, I could show you this one here. So let me share my screen. This kind of provides something to the discussion. So let's look at Illinois. So this is national, and this company here, National Home Renters, they're not in all of the states. They're only into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 homes. I mean, 7 states. Illinois being one of those. So you can see, right? So they don't even have that many properties. This is something they say is available. This is a townhome. They want $2,595 a month for a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath home. And it's crazy. Yeah, this is nuts. You know, but people are paying a lot of cost for rent. You know, this is a move-in ready home. Basically Lake in the Hills is it's a pretty nice, kind of B-ish type neighborhood. So that's a pretty nice neighborhood right there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Lake in the Hills. Yeah, that's like northwest suburbs. So yeah, that's, this is what they have. This is another, let's see what they got. I mentioned Georgia. So yeah, they got properties. Look like this company don't really have that many properties. Like they must be a new upstart, but they're one of the many companies. And you can absolutely do this too. Like don't get it twisted. You can make a business model like this company, right? And have a website, have it, very similarly, and you could compete right with this company. You can absolutely do the same thing. You can even scale like what people tend to do. And I bet you this company probably did the same thing. They probably started off with one state, and then they worked their way to be national. But yeah, this is this one property in Georgia. Because I mean, basically, this is kind of what I wanted to do, but something a little bit different. I didn't want to just be selling, like being a landlord or property manager. I wanted to basically give people the chance of owner financing, and I was gonna do that. But see, this is this is like, something. This is one company that I know of, that basically does the national renters, and they got, they got properties all over the United States. You know what I'm saying? But only on 7 states though. So yeah. So yeah, it's it's pretty interesting, man, as far as like just looking at the economy, it's just looking at how things are, as far as what people doing. It's like a lot of people crashing out, man. It's so many people crashing out, man. It's crazy. Absolutely bonkers. It's like crash out. Every day people just crashing out, man. It's like, wow. You know, the amount of people that's crashing out, man, is crazy. So they saying Netflix is going up because they start to crack down on people using people bad passwords. So that means people gotta, if you're gonna want to watch Netflix, you gotta basically have an account. So that means more accounts, more money. You know, so that's the way of the world. More money, more money, more money. Yep. More money. I got a pretty good quote on my drywall. It's like I got a really, really good quote. Finally got a quote on my drywall, but you know, it's like got other challenges. So that it's gonna be on hiatus till I get that done. But yeah, it's like, man, I don't know, man. It's you know, it's like I feel pretty good about my situation, man. Like owning a home, you know, it's like it just takes one house, man, and you own it outright. It's just a different type of existence. It's like, man, you don't got to worry about no rent. You ain't got to worry about no mortgage. Man, the amount of stress to not have to worry about those things is like, it's a amazing reality. But then you still got to you still got to worry about, you got to pay your taxes. You got to make sure, you know, other stuff is paid, you know. People always ask me, why you don't go out? Why you don't go out? Why you don't go out? Because I don't know how to act. Like, I be surfing the crowd. Next thing you know, I'm getting into it with the security guard, telling them I'm going to slap fire from their bald-headed days. Bitch, fuck a bartender. I'm behind the... This shit crazy. Let me share this stuff, man. Let me see here. Yeah, so it's an interesting thing, man. It ain't really that hard, depending on where you are in the country, man. You could easily own some real estate. It's this chick here. Why you don't go out? Why you don't go out? Because I don't know how to act. Like, I be surfing the crowd. Next thing you know, I'm getting into it with the security guards, telling them I'm going to slap fire from their bald-headed days. Bitch, fuck a bartender. I'm behind the bar making the drinks. Next thing you know, I'm over there with the police singing, wee, 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 wee. Then, boom, I'm at the DJ booth. I'm telling them what songs needs to be played next. Don't let them put on G shit. At this point, I'm gangbanging, twisting my fingers up, toting guns. Man, I mix. I'm off that Pet Ron and that Hen Dog. I'm on Casa Ricos and Don Booty Hole. Like, we ain't gonna get home till the next day. It never fails. Like, I don't know how to act when I go outside. So just let me be a homebody, because, baby, do you want to get some shit? Do you want to drink to die? People always ask me. That's who you gotta pick from. Oh my God, man. this is this is who you gotta pick from. Imagine that's who you gotta pick. You had a in your pool of who to pick. That's that's who you that's one of your choices. Absolute just I mean crash out waiting to happen. I mean just absolute just destroy your life. Just crash out. Oh man. Yeah, man. It's people are definitely not are trying to avoid all of that. Trying to avoid um those problems. I'm trying to avoid that. But most of the time, I mean, I ain't gonna lie. Most of what I think about, man, renovations every day. That's all I think about, man. I think about future renovations, investments. That's all I think about. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Once you get older, I would say like in your 30s, the older you get, if you are an investor type person or you have some experience in investing, that's what you're gonna think about. You're gonna be like, damn, okay, what I'm gonna do with, if I had some money, what would I invest in? Or you're gonna be thinking about investing, you're already gonna be investing. That's all you're gonna be thinking about, man. Investing. And definitely if you in real estate, you're gonna be thinking about basically renovation, more renovation. This is what you're gonna be thinking about. And then you're gonna be thinking about tools, more tools. What tools do I need next? And all of that. I just found out my drywall tools, man. I started using them, and they work pretty great. They like my corner tools work pretty good. That's what I think about, man. I just think about, you know, renovation. I mean, I got my house now where I basically I got it to a point where it's pretty decent. It's like it's clean. I've been pretty much getting rid of a lot of clutter, a lot of stuff I don't need. I've been selling it, throwing it away, bagging it up, putting things away, trying to organize things, cleaning up stuff. So, yeah, that's what I've been doing. And it's just so many designs, man. Like when I really get down into it, I'm gonna be like more into like home designing. Like it's so many like different designs, like as far as material and stuff, walls and all kind of different stuff, man. It's like it's so much you could do like with a house, man. It's like I'm just gonna put my own design touch on my renovations, man, and it's just gonna be like a unique experience. Like each house is gonna have its own type of design. I'm gonna have like a design book. I'm gonna work with some manufacturers and come up with some different materials that's unique. I'm gonna just basically just gonna get down with those. But I'm gonna tell you something else. Like, you know, a lot of these basically container homes. They got like these container homes and stuff. Well, it's another type of structure that's it's similar to the container homes, but it's different in a sense where they call A-frames, and these structures are just as cheap as container homes. It don't cost as much, and you know, basically, you know, these houses, you could put them in a lot, and it just won't look like anything you ever seen before, and it's not that expensive. You know, they got kits that will basically come to your lot, and basically you got to put them together, and they got different, you know, types. They got more deluxe, like the deluxe ones cost more because it's more bedrooms, more square feet. But these is what these looks like. These are A-frames houses, you know. So it's like basically it's got skylights, you know, it's got a wood stove in there already for warmth. So they really designed to kind of live off in the woods, like kind of being kind of off the grid, you know. So, you know, basically these are cheaper. These are for like one bedroom. So if you see how it is, like you even got studios, it's like $22,000. So it's like, okay, that's not that expensive. See, that's what I know about construction and other people don't know about. Like when people be like, damn, man, I can't afford no house. But you know, some people have money. Some people got 50 grand. You buy a lot, you get it approved before you get the lot, right? You got to go to the government, the local, you know, whatever city or lot you planning on buying a lot. And you basically talk to the building department who runs the building department, and you come up and you talk to them about your idea for building an A-frame. You find out it's legal, meaning it's something that can be done. Basically you get, like, they'll tell you, it's their job to tell you. They'll tell you this can't be done. This can, yeah, you can, as long as you follow certain codes and whatnot, you can get this built. Yeah, this is totally something that could be built. And then once you get that approval and you get the process for that city to get a building permit, you get, once you get that permit, yeah, you could go buy a lot. And then this is the cost of, like, for a 1 bedroom or a studio. I mean, basically, if you don't have no kids, a 1 bedroom is straight. Like, because basically you can live there. If you got a significant other, could live there. And then you could, you know what I'm saying, basically how this is something that will be like an Airbnb. This will be like an Airbnb, and people absolutely enjoy this. They will love it. They will have a unique experience. You know what I'm saying? It's like this stuff like this, man, it separates yourself from the average person. Like, you know, I don't think like the average person, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I be thinking of like stuff that's unique. Like I'm very much passionate about real estate. I'm passionate about houses about I'm passionate about new innovation, new structures, you know what I'm saying? Like that's just what it's just how it have been my whole life for the most part. And then here's another thing, right? Just the A-frames, right? These are not that expensive. Like as far as housing kits, I remember I remember when I was in high school, I'll say my early 20s, and I realized like you could go buy a house, you could go to a hardware store, like you could go to Menards. It's a hardware store called Menards. I used to work there, and I used to see the housing kits, like to get a complete house with all the material you need. I'm talking about lighting, plumbing, electrical, bathroom, kitchen, framing, everything, all the materials. It would be like for a 3 bedroom house with 2 baths. It was like you talking about 2000, early 2000. It's like 50 something $1,000 a complete house. Now, for people to put it together, that's another, cost. That's probably like, probably like 50 grand. But you getting a whole house built for $100,000 plus, fees and taxes and everything. And that was what the price was, and it's like, okay, now that cost is like double or triple. But see, you still have a situation where, okay, I'm not gonna say you want to build A-frames in Gary, Indiana. I'm not saying that. Okay, I'm not saying that at all. Okay, if I had the money, I would do it. I would do it because I don't really care. I like having unique stuff. You know what I'm saying? People drive past your house and they damn near about to crash. They about to run into a pole because they just never seen nothing like that. I mean, ideally, you want to build something like this in an upper class neighborhood or as close as the upper class neighborhood you can get. But you gotta still make sure you can build it. You gotta go through the building department, make sure they can sign off on that and tell you the process how you can get a building permit. But the thing is this, right? When it come down to it, if you build something like that, it ain't gonna cost you that much, and you're gonna have a unique type of home. You know what I'm saying? And ain't nobody else gonna have. They just won't have that. You're gonna have something that's unique that nobody has, and something exclusive. So yeah, I mean that's one thing. I'm gonna show you another thing that basically is something that I saw yesterday. I was watching um, YouTube, and I saw this new construction that they're building in like Florida. They're building these basically these concrete homes. This is like the future.
It's no secret that in the US, we do not have enough homes. They're built slowly, they're expensive, and they're not very durable to natural disasters. But one company based in Florida is changing that. This is Onyx Homes. They're building thousands of homes within this factory that are primarily made from concrete, so they're more durable to fire, wind, and water. So I'm sure you guys know that homes typically are stick-built on site, and it takes a really long time, like 10 months usually. It's a long process. With this fact,
Yeah, even when you build a brick house, it's still the foundation is always wood, and then a lot of times people build houses that's wood houses, and they just have siding because brick homes cost way more than siding homes. Siding is very cheap. Bricks are more expensive. So basically, even both structures are built off of a wood foundation. So this company that they're coming in changing the whole game.
process that's on a production line, they can build these 2,000 square feet concrete homes in just a month. And I know you might be like, why concrete? So I know it seems kind of extra to build.
So yeah, the average home, let's say you had a whole bunch of money, right? And you wanted to get a house built from the ground up. You gotta find, a builder, you gotta find a GC, you gotta find property, you gotta find a lot to build a property on, you gotta get permits, you know what I'm saying? You gotta get an architect. It's a lot of stuff involved when you get a house built, right? And then by the time you assemble all of that together, or if let's say you just went to a home builder, they'll provide all of that. They already have architects that they either have on site, they have general contractors, they have an entire construction team. Even if you did that, right? You just didn't do it like me. I don't need to go to a building company. I can assemble an architect and I could work with a GC of a construction company to give me a bid on a property to build a property. I don't necessarily need to go to a building company to do all that. I know how to do it because I went to school for construction. Basically, the architect works with the general contractor. The general contractor finds all of the tradesmen to assemble all of the tradesmen to build the property. Okay. And that's basically how you get started. You have to get all of the permits. The GC is going to be responsible for all of the pulling the permits and all of that. But all of that said, right, that process takes about a year. It might even take more than a year because, sometimes it's dependent on how quick the tradesman can get that house built. It might be a delay, it's usually also a delay in the wintertime. It's not as, they're not working as much in the wintertime because it's just too cold, especially if they're doing outside framing, any work outside. You can pretty much just safe to say that house is not going to be getting worked on that much during the wintertime, So it takes about, a year or longer to get a house built. If don't have no mansion built or no big ass house built, like a deluxe house, it's gonna take even longer because it's more square footage, it's more time. It takes a long time to get a house built. It's people that's living in a hotel right now or living in an extended apartment or something like that, a long-term stay apartment for about a year, and they've been there for a while because they're getting their home built and they gotta wait for the house to get built. So it takes a long time to get a house built, custom house built.
A concrete house, but the truth is, these days, that's what we need in certain places. Stick-built homes are getting destroyed by fires, hurricanes, floods. So I'm sure some of you guys have seen that there is a huge issue now in Florida. You can't even get home insurance in certain places, and where you can get it, it's extremely expensive. My home insurance in Seattle is $100 a month, but there are people in Florida paying over $1,000 a month. And it's coming to California too, where these wildfires have kind of wreaked havoc. It's very expensive for the insurance companies to rebuild, so the premiums are going up. Stick-built houses are just not resilient to natural disasters the way that concrete is. So that is a big reason why they went with building concrete homes in Florida. Onyx has already built hundreds of these homes and sold out of many neighborhoods. But what's really interesting is how these are built, because like I mentioned, it's mostly in a factory. So this is the main factory, which they have a model home in that is fully finished out. And it looks totally like a regular home. You wouldn't even really know that it's concrete. There's drywall inside. Everything feels kind of what you're used to when it comes to a new construction home, which I think is a really good thing. Outside of the model home, you can see the bathroom pods that they manufacture and the staircases. So they make these in the factory and then bring them to the home site.
I'm conquering new heights as HR in a mid-size.
Have it all hooked up. You can see even the bathrooms have plumbing and electrical ready to go. We took a tour of the factory, which is pretty massive. They assemble parts of the roof here, which they use steel for because it is better for reinforcing for wind. It's going to be more resilient to strong winds. Parts of the process are done by workers and parts of it are done by machines. Something that can take a long time in construction is making the cuts because you have to be so precise. So having a machine do this instead can save a lot of time, and then a person can finish the job and make sure it's good. They had some samples of what everything is made out of, so you can see this is a piece of the wall. There's foam insulation inside, and the pieces fit together in these grooves to make them even stronger. The steel for the roof is recycled, and this is also really good when it comes to fire resistance as well, to have steel rather than wood on the roof. Over here is the concrete mixer for the walls. This is partially outside, but it pours all of this concrete into molds that are going to lay for about 8 hours to cure. And machines are able to do a lot of this, so it is automated and more efficient. Once they've cured, a machine takes off the molds. They use magnets to move the pieces together. The finished concrete walls are then moved into place by robots because obviously these would be extremely heavy, and then they're ready to go to be transported out this door to the construction site. This is where everything all comes together, but there's actually another factory that creates the bathroom pods. And one of the coolest things was seeing the bathroom pods in the houses. So they're able to just install a fully finished bathroom ready to be hooked up to the rest of the house. How wild is that? This is the bathroom pod factory. It's pretty crazy. I've never seen anything like this. The concrete molds are poured outside, and then after they cure, they're brought inside by machines. Robots move each bathroom pod around to different stations, and there are workers at each station doing each job. So things like tiling, grouting, and painting are all done manually, but it's a lot more efficient because workers don't have to drive from job site to job site. Each bathroom comes to them. So they're not having to move all their materials and tools each time either. So using this production line process, they're able to make 16 to 20 bathroom pods each day, which is enough for about 4 houses. They can fit a few bathrooms on a truck, and then they just crane them inside each house. And like I mentioned, they already have the plumbing and electrical hookups on them, so they just have to be hooked up to the rest of the house. The stairs are also fully made in the factory and just brought in by a crane, which is pretty wild. So they do assemble everything else on site, but it's a much faster process because they don't have to make any cuts. Everything is ready to just be assembled together. And this is how they've been able to build hundreds of houses in just a couple years, and they're not stopping here. They're still building more. But let's take a look inside one of the finished houses. This is their Alba series of homes. They start at $500,000 for a 5-bed, 3-bath home. Okay, so this is the entryway. You'll notice that they have all tile floors in here, so no carpet or anything like that anywhere. Right off the entryway, there is a room that could be an office or a bedroom. So this house actually has quite a lot of bedrooms, and there is also a bathroom. Come check out the living area. The living area feels really modern. It's an open concept with a lot of windows and a slider out to the backyard. This is the kitchen that they have in this model. It's a really good size and it has good finishes, especially for this price point. I'll also note they have a few different styles. So they actually do have a more modern oak cabinetry. What's crazy is you would actually never know that there is as much concrete in this house as there is because there is still drywall. So it feels like a regular house, but it's actually more wind resistant, more mold resistant, and fire resistant. But you still have the comfort of a drywall home that we're all kind of used to, right? Heading upstairs, they make very efficient use of the space. There's actually 4 bedrooms up here and a really generous sized primary bedroom. It's actually really big. New constructions are notorious for having small bedrooms, but this also had a big walk-in closet and a really big primary bathroom as well. And then down the hall is the other 2 bedrooms. Pretty good size. It could be an office, guest room, kids room, whatever, and another bathroom. These homes don't feel different than any other home, but when you look at them under construction, they've got all this concrete. I like that they still have drywall because it just feels more comfortable to me. But when you look at it this way, you can see how everything is much more reinforced. They're building over 700 homes just in 2024 alone, and a lot of these have already sold. People have already moved into them, but there are some that they're still completing and still for sale. They've also completed and sold over 500 townhouses. And taking a look inside of these, you can see they also make very efficient use of the space, and they're selling for the low 400,000s. So they've done a really great job at adding to the housing supply, houses that people actually want to live in. So while many parts of these are made in a factory, Onyx doesn't consider themselves a prefab company. They are more of a traditional home builder that just happens to be making a lot of the pieces within a factory. And I noticed an issue in the prefab home space that I want to bring up. So the problem with prefabs doesn't have to do with the product itself, because a lot of prefabs are really cool looking. The issue is most of these companies aren't actually out there building them. They're waiting for an individual to buy a piece of land and hire the prefab company to build it, which is, 1% of the population, probably less. Most people do not have the time, the expertise, or the desire to build a house from the ground up. That, in my opinion, is the main issue with a lot of prefab homes. They're not real estate developers. They have a really cool product, but in reality, a lot of times they're not actually getting built. A lot of the prefab companies that I've made videos with, they've got like a handful of houses built. Whereas Onyx already has 500 townhouses that they've built and sold out. A lot of prefab houses are also very expensive for what you get. It'll be a 2-bed, 2-bath starting at $400,000, not even including land. Whereas these Onyx homes, 5-bed, 3-bath for $500,000, including the land. Because
Yeah, so I looked up this company too. This company is traded on the stock market. As far as I can see, this is probably something that you might want to invest in. Okay. Let me look up the ticker. Let me also look on Google to see what's going on. This is something you probably want to get in on. Like as far as something that you might want to get in on. Trying to see if it's on Google. Because I want to confirm, because I think it IPO'd last year. I think it IPO'd last year, but I'm not sure. Let me check to see what's going on. So it's saying Onyx Homes is still private. So maybe it's in the process of IPOing. Because I don't see a ticker on it. Let me see what's going on here. So apparently, maybe I'm looking at something different here. Because according to Google, this is saying that it's hasn't IPO'd yet. Okay, so basically this website here is called notice.co. So I think this is like one of those companies, and this is really some high level stuff too I'm giving you, because basically if this is what I think this is, which is a website where you can buy pre-IPO companies, yeah, it's a way you can buy into private companies. Basically, you can, this is very, very important information here. What I'm trying to tell you is you can actually be your own venture capital fund. This is a way for you to have your own small venture capitalist firm. So open your mind, think about this, right? So you got the regular stock market, and you got your money in there. If you got a job, you got a 401k, and that's trading in the stock market. Whatever you're doing on the investment side, right? You can add 10 grand or more to having your own venture capitalist fund, where you have companies that are up and coming that you could put your money into, and then boom, when the company IPOs, you own so many shares, and you know what I'm saying, basically you got a piece of it. This is what they do. They pitch to millionaire basketball players, NFL players, and they give them an opportunity to invest. And then, basically that company IPOs, they make money. That's how Nas made money. He made money off of Coinbase. Also 50 Cent, I get money, basically buying vitamin water. That's how he made his money. Basically a lot of the guys, man, that you probably wouldn't think of, they put a little money and they own portions of a particular company. And then you figure out once they sell, okay, this person owns so much into this private company. Then when it IPOs, they make their money back, and plus a profit. So yeah, so this is very, very serious. The thing is man, there's so many ways to make money. It's retarded. It's absolutely bananas. Okay. You gotta understand, if you got money, right? You got $1 million, you got an opportunity to make $1 million, meaning basically you're given an opportunity to where, let's say you get like $100,000. Your aunt died and left you $100,000. I mean, basically that's enough money for you to make $1 million off of it. Because you know what typically people do when they get like some money, they do a couple things. I'll say about at least 5 things people do when they get money. 1, they go buy a car. 2, they go buy extravagant clothing and jewelry. Okay. The third thing people do is go on vacations. And I'm talking about, they going on vacation. They going to Miami multiple times. They going to Jamaica. They going to, all over the place. They're just, basically just flying all over the place, right? So doing all of that, they blow through that money. And I'll say a fourth thing that they do is people go and they go buy a house that they can't really afford. They go put down on the down payment of a house or something like that. I already mentioned car, I believe. What's the 5th thing people do? They give the money away. They just splurge it, just giving it away, giving it to their friends, giving it to other, their boyfriend, buying their boyfriend something, their husband something, or something like that, buying their kids stuff, TVs and all kind of crazy stuff. And then they basically blow that money when you could have got that $100,000 and you could have done a multitude of things. One thing you could have done is basically if you learn how to trade, you could put it in a stock market and make options, calls, or puts. Not saying all of it, but you could have put, a certain amount of money in the stock market, basically, on options or even long-term dividend stocks and made money. $100,000, you could have bought a bunch of vending machines, ATM machines, and basically came up with different businesses that they don't have any ATM machines. Makes some type of vending machine contracts with local schools, churches, different places, barber shops, beauty salons, just different high traffic areas where people coming in and out. And then boom, okay, you got residual money that you make it every month. You could buy real estate to fix and flip, not live in. If you already got a place to live, right? That's what people do. They just don't put their money in something to make more money. That $100,000 can make you $1 million if you really use it right. Like you could make $1 million off $100,000. It might take you a few years or so, but you can absolutely do that. But people don't think like that. People just don't think like that. It just the mind of a person, the average person, they just don't. That's not something that they think about. They don't think about. Okay, I take this $100,000, I can flip it to at least $200,000. I could go, basically, go buy some cars and try to resell them. I could buy, a bunch of stuff and resell it on eBay. I mean, people just don't think like that. Just the average person just doesn't think like that. Buy a box truck and then create some extra income for myself on the side when I can. Make an extra $1,000 a week. From the box truck. Take that money, put it in a stock market or put it in another business. Make some money off of that. I mean, it's just that's just how I think, man. And it's just, you gotta understand, man. This situation is very, very, it's very, volatile. Like, I mean, you only have like so much opportunities you're gonna possibly get. When you get that opportunity, man, to kind of go ahead, because I mean, the thing is like this, right? The economy is not gonna, whether it goes down or goes up or whatever, it's your opportunity to just be strong. While other people crash out, while other people fold up, it's your opportunity to really be strong. Like, it's your opportunity to step yourself up and create something for your family. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know the world is crumbling, the world is going the way the world is going. I don't think like that. And I was taught not to think like that. Don't focus on all these other things. Because this is what you do. When you start to focus in on, they launching missiles off over here the Russians is about to invade, and you watching all this news and all this programming that scares you away, right? When you start to open your door, like the Pandora's box, and into that world of worrying about, you know, the world is going to end and all of that shit, it's going to distract you from competing. Because what you got to understand is the wealthy elites, they already have money. They already have the ability to not have to worry about nothing. You know, people that got, you know, $100 million in the bank, $10 million in the bank, you know, they don't have to worry about your everyday average person's problems, which is housing, food, car costs, housing costs, you know, child care costs, and you know, just the average person that concerns themselves of the people that got really big amounts of money, such as, like, you know, millionaires and up. They don't have to worry about those things. Just don't have to worry about it. They, you know, just, you know, what I try to tell people to do, and I do myself, is imagine, you know, you have a whole bunch of money, and then think about your problems. When I say a whole bunch of money, I'm talking about, imagine you got like $500,000 or more. Your problems that you thinking about it, your move that you know are in right now, it'd probably be totally different if you had $500,000 or more in your bank account. A lot of times, this is the funny thing. This is the tripped out thing about, like, money and the impact it does on your life and how serious it really is. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. A lot of people, why they be bored, why they be going through stuff, they just don't have the money. If you have $500,000, just $500,000, your whole life has changed. You're literally, your whole life has changed. Like, you literally, you have enough money to basically at least change your life. That's in America in this day and time, that's life-changing money. Okay, if you want to be living in your friends and with Calabasas and the Hamptons in New York, yeah, no, it's not going to change your life. And I understand that. I'm just talking about, you know, for the average person, man, you know, that doesn't live around a whole bunch of billionaires and millionaires. Like, that's life-changing money, man. That's just, you know, whatever you would probably dealing with, you know, that money is gonna help. You know what I'm saying? Like, that $500,000 is gonna change all that motherfucking problems you have. Oh, you can't get no women in America? Okay, we got something for you. Okay, $2,000 trip to Colombia. You know, all expenses paid. Hotel, flights. I mean, food in the hotel. You know what I'm saying? Boom, problem solved. You know what I'm saying? Problem solved. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like that. And they ain't even require $500,000. You know what I'm saying? But you definitely got it to go over there. You got it to go to Colombia, go to shit, you know, go to the DR, go to Mexico or something like that for a week. Oh man, I mean, that's just, you could do it with no problems. I mean, no problems at all. You know what I'm saying? Just go ahead and go. I mean, if you got kids, it's a little bit more complicated. I mean, if you got, I don't know, if you got kids, I mean, ideally, hopefully you live with your kid's mother, and you shouldn't be having no problem, not having, not being sexually satisfied. But I don't know, I guess if you live with your children, yeah, you can't necessarily do that. You can't go on no trip. Some men are actual single dads, which they have custody of their children. They got full custody of their children for whatever reason. They have full custody of their children, so really don't have the ability to do that. I don't really, think about that much. But yeah, it's some fathers that have full custody of their children, where they already, pretty much have their children around them all the time. So they really can't really have a hard time dating and getting to know other women. They definitely can't go take no trip nowhere, really, unless they taking their kids with them. I mean, but men know how to resolve that. Men pretty much kind of know how to deal with things. One of the things about men that women they're not really comfortable with, men don't have no problem. If push come to shove, they don't have no problem paying women for what they need from them. Women don't necessarily like a whole bunch of women. No, it's a amount of women, or a small percentage of women. They okay with paying men. Okay, if they have a favorite type of a guy or whatever, they okay with that. But most women are not okay with paying men. They just not into that. But men are pretty much okay with, if push come to shove, if they not hitting on nothing, they are okay paying women for whatever they want from them. I mean, they just men. That's what men are okay with. That women, they not so much. They're waiting for Mr. Right or Mr. Right now or whatever, and they just dealing with that. Hoping for a dream. All of that type of stuff. They're not about to pay no guy, because they don't really have to, just don't have to. But the thing is, yeah, I mean, men are okay. They don't really like to. Men don't like to do that. And there's some men like myself, like I absolutely despise doing that. And I don't do it. I just pretty much, I try to avoid that like the plague. Trying to pay for a woman's sexual access. You know what I'm saying? I try to avoid that shit like the fucking plague. But if push come to shove, that shit, it's a situation where if push come to shove is that bad, I mean, hell, no problem. I don't have no problem doing that, but women, not so much. No, they're not about to. Women, the average mindset of a woman is she knows she can get sexual access from men. Women have the upper hand in that. They can get sexual access from men. And that's why cheating, when people talk about cheating versus women and men, women have more of the opportunity to cheat because basically they already have the ability to easier get sexual access, um, because women pretty much are the gateways to sexual access. I mean, without sexual access from women, women have the potential to, like what they're talking about with this whole 4B movement type shit, where they, basically are talking about a sexual strike against men. And I talked about this, I pretty much I posted on my community tab. I posted that movie that I'd never even seen yet, with Spike Lee. I think it was called Chirac. And in the movie, the women basically had a sex strike against the men. They say they tried this before. I mean, that movie was fictitious, but I think they did this in South America. The women in South America had a sex strike, and because the men were too violent or something like that, and they had a sex strike, and it was effective. From the readings of about it, it was effective. You know what I'm saying? Like, it got the result that the women were looking for, where they was stopping all of this like gang violence or something like that in South America. I think it was going on somewhere in South America. I don't know exactly when, but basically that's what these women are talking about, and it kind of seems like, I don't know, it's already something like that. Like, the women are absolutely, they like kind of just angry. You got a lot of women that just are angry at men. Like, even women that had their fathers in their life, like, they have some, it's like some type of, like, I don't know what it is, man. You could say some type of demonic spirit or something, that these women, they just are preaching to other women to hate men. And then, they like, striking. It's all, it's kind of like all of this stuff. I said it's a progression. It's usually a progression, not a digression. So, the thing about how troubling the dating market is, and dating life is in America, it's not going to get better, right? So it's progressing. So the 4B talk is a progression of that dating dynamic in America being more harder, primarily on the women's side. The men, they want to have sex as much as they want to have. They want to have freak offs and all of that other shit. But the women, they're taking a step back. But a lot of this shit is based off of the economy. I basically just talked about the economy. The economy and sexual access is definitely, it's something that economists don't talk about. It's something that economists don't talk about. It's something that, it's something that's known, but people don't talk about it. They probably, but I think economists do know about this concept, or more probably social scientists, but they don't necessarily probably talk about it, or maybe they don't talk about it in a way that has anything to revolve around sex. They might basically, it kind of goes into, people are not getting married, another, because that's a kind of a PG way of talking about this thing, where it's like basically women are not getting married, men and women are not getting married, and a lot of that is because of the social pressures that's going on in the world, and also in America. We're in you could say we're in a class war. We're in a war, and it's not so much the class war that you think of, like middle class or upper class and stuff like that, is basically the haves and the have-nots, to just kind of put it in more perspective, because all of that, like I said before, that class system stuff is a joke. That's really to keep you in a trick bag, because the true middle class is you have to be a millionaire to be in the true middle class. You have to be a millionaire. If you think that making over $100,000, making $100,000 is upper class, I got some vodka to sell you, and some gummies, you know what I'm saying, to give you, because basically you must be high, and you probably need to get higher or something like that, because it's like, man, that shit is, that's gonna keep people just basically non-competitive. That's something to just basically keep you in a box. You know what I'm saying? Like that old model of, you gotta make just $50,000 to be middle class. Oh man, that's the biggest joke I've ever heard of. That set so many people back. It's just, unbelievable. Because I'll be honest, like from the data that I know, from the research that I know, and even the stuff that I've expressed on this channel, basically people that make over $100,000 are still struggling. Like a lot of people that make, I think they said like over half of people that make over $100,000 are living check to check. Some people are people got graduate degrees and they're on welfare. I think they said like 1/3 of people that have a graduate degree are on welfare. So yes, it's pretty tripped out, man. A lot of basically what I'm saying is, if the economy flowed freely like it did in the 90s, a lot of people would be more happier, more comfortable, taking certain risks. It's kind of like being like a hippie, being like hippie times or something like that, where, people were happy, fun loving, and all that, because, the economy was, pretty good, doing pretty good or something like that. Basically that's how that is, like with the economy. Like when things get tough, where you got people complaining about how they gonna pay their bills, and the job that they already have is not enough to pay for all of their bills and stress and stuff like that. All of this type of stuff, it just breeds all of this. And then you got these old people, you got these old Gen Xers that's washed up, that's, I just put, they just talking crazy. I just put on TikTok, this is what came up. So this chick talking about don't marry a black man.
Do not marry a black man unless you require these 3 things. Part 2. And here's a disclaimer. If you are not a black woman, please do not get in the comment section and tell me how to run.
You got $10? Yeah. Let me put you on something real quick. This right here is a 4x4. You're going to buy you a 4x4, and I'm going to show you what to do with it to make it killing. Get home, you're going to get your speed squared. And you're going to draw a straight line every 1/2 inch all the way down the whole length of the board like this. half an inch, half an inch. Then you're left with a bunch of squares like this. Then get you a sander, and you're going to go over all of them on both sides and on the edges and get them as smooth as you can. And then you're going to Google wooden drink coasters. And you're going to see that roughly average, they sell for about $20 a 4-pack. So that $10 12-foot 4x4 you bought, you can make 288 cuts out of that piece. And then with those 288, you put them in bundles of 4. Just like that, you got 72 bundles. And if you do 72 times 20 on average, that's $1,440 that you can make off of one $10 investment. There ain't no excuse for anybody to be broke.
Man, my man said it, man. I mean, that was a tripped out ass intro. That was a tripped out intro. I wasn't really expecting that. I thought it was about some older chick that's tripping, about something. Let me see. But yeah, I mean, when you got people, man, that's tripping, man, about the economy, which everybody just about is, and primarily even women complaining about the economy, it's just rough, man. How can you confidently be carefree about having children and all of that shit? When women are concerned about the economy, good luck with having carefree sexual experiences with said women. when you can't take no risks. I mean they gonna take some risks. They definitely gonna they're gonna take some risks, but it's like, I don't know, it's rough, compared to a situation where it's easier and the economy is just flowing a lot easier. It's a correlation. It's a correlation in people being happy versus people being not happy. I'm gonna tell you, when you don't have money, that is not a situation where people are happy. I'm gonna say definitely is a correlation with people being unsatisfied, unhappy, because they don't have enough basically capital. And it's a correlation with that. And if they did have said more capital, they'll be happier. They'll be more of a risk taker. You know what I'm saying? So that's why this thing is very, very fucking toxic. It's one of the reasons. So let's see what this chick's talking about.
And my answer is staying put. I've been in this apartment for about 7 years. Now, it's a little outdated, maybe a lot outdated.
I remember watching this video like almost a year ago. And basically the young lady, she had kind of like the black girl luxury aesthetic going on, but she had just moved to a brand new luxury apartment. And she was kind of having a transparent moment by saying that since she's moved from her old apartment to this luxury apartment, which I'm sure she deserved, she can't do as much as she used to do when she was in her old apartment. And one of the things that she enjoyed doing was traveling. So since she's moved into this luxury apartment, she can't travel as much as she used to. And she said that she had to pretty much come up with a strategy to figure out how she was going to do that, because, she was just like, I'm ready to move out of this luxury apartment. Like, she still made a lot of money, but majority of her money was going to rent. And so the small little luxuries that she enjoyed about life in her old apartment, she no longer could have them all. And I wish I could.
See, like, I mean, this is, this is the type of stuff I talk about all the time. These are the things that men do, like basically women by themselves, they be doing dumb shit like that, like living long term, being a long term renter. I'm gonna tell you something, right? I'm trying to tell everyone, right, that what I'm saying is the old model of you just making $50,000 being the middle class, $100,000 being upper middle class. That's a lie. I mean, you have to make 10 times more than that to really be considered just in the middle class. I know this is the new firmware update. I'm just, kind of coming to this understanding and fully embracing it. I've heard it before, but it just took me a long time to embrace this. But okay, if I'm telling you that, right, and if you're putting all your money into an apartment, the little money that you have, like, okay, you put in 2,000, I'll say like you putting in $2,000 a month for an apartment in the Chicagoland area, which you don't really have to put that much up. Depending on where you have the apartment, it depends where how much it's gonna cost or whatever. But the thing is this, right? So if you're doing that on a long-term basis, you're spending, let's just say, $25,000 a year on rent, right? You're spending basically what what is considered a working class income on rent. You're spending what a working class man or woman would make, what they would make from a job. That's what you're spending on rent, just for 4 walls, refrigerator, a bathroom, a kitchen. That's what you're spending on that. You absolutely are losing in life, no question. And you don't even have to tell me that you're struggling or whatever. I already know. And this is the thing, like, men, women doing that, basically not with a man, or not, in a situation where because a lot of women do avoid men that basically are more willing to tell them what to do, are going to tell, because women don't, certain women, especially nowadays, they don't like being told what to do by their man. A lot of women avoid this. This is some of the secretive things that they don't really like to admit. But you hear from Kevin Samuels, when he had his show, they were saying, I avoid, certain men that are more responsible, because I'm not willing to listen to a man telling me what to do. They don't want to be told what to do. So women are absolutely be crash out dummies based off the fact that, and you seeing this now. I've been noticing this for several decades now. I mean, for not several, but quite a few decades now. Women will crash out because they don't want to listen to a man. And even you see them being celebrities and rich, so-called rich and celebrities, and you see them crashing out because they didn't want to listen to their man, or they didn't get along with their man for whatever reason. And basically it was something from a situation where that man chose to be dominant, and it not, basically bow down to their woman based off of them wanting them to do so, and then they chose to leave the relationship or whatever, and then you see them crash out. So it's like, yeah, what, you know, a lot of this shit, these dumbass financial decisions, is a lot of it is based off of them not having a, just basically not having a husband, just not having a man. Because a man, like, I ain't gonna lie, like, I remember one of my ex-girlfriends before I got married. I mean, before I got married, she made, I think she was at the time making six figures. I don't know exactly, but she made enough money to where she had the credit and everything to qualify for a house. And I used to have arguments like, why the fuck are you getting this little small 1-bedroom apartment and you paying all of this money for this shit when you could be paying a mortgage and you could have, you know, like a 3-bedroom house, a big house, basically. It's like, yeah, I was totally right. And my ex-girlfriend was a fucking Ivy League college graduate. I was a dropout. I'm a college dropout. At the end of the day, yeah, I'm a college dropout. Like, I don't have a degree. I got as far as like about a class or two away from getting my degree because I got dropped because of the tuition I owed. But yeah, I'm a college dropout. But the thing is that obviously I was right. I was so right. That was 2011, 2010. She would have, the house, if she would have listened to me, literally, she could have got a house for like 200 grand. That house would be worth like $500,000 right now. $500,000 easy. With equity, because she would have been already paying like 10 years into it. I mean, from a college dropout, you know, at the time I was a full-time entrepreneur. I had my computer store in a dangerous part of Chicago, the south side of Chicago. But yeah, I was making money. I was surviving. But yeah, I told her, I was like, yeah, you gotta get out of this apartment and get you some property. But her idea was, she was out of state. She was from another state. She wasn't from Illinois. She was just here to work, help her family out, pay her bills, pay her debts, and she just needed some place to live. But it's like, what would help your family out more? You actually having a house that you have some rights of ownership to, and you can, you know, basically do what you need to do with it. You could always resell the house. You can rent it out. You can do a lot. Like, and her concept was, if something happens, push come to shove, she can get out of her apartment. She can just go somewhere, not have to worry about paying rent. You know, I mean, basically just pay out her rent or whatever, and then go on her merry way. If she got a house, it would take more to close things out. You know what I'm saying? That was her mindset. But it was like, you know, that's a temporary, like, very short term mindset. Like, the thing about me, I always thought long term. And I thought, what was the best bang for your buck? See, the thing about it is, I never really made that much money, and I knew what the options were out there, and I knew every dollar that you got to use it to empower yourself. At that time when I had met her, I was already conscious. I was already into like researching things about finances, because that was after the crash of 2008. So even before all that, like, what I learned about that was from the comedian Dick Gregory. Dick Gregory said, every dollar that you have, you can use it to empower yourself, or obviously the opposite of that is enslave yourself. So it's like, okay, when I was saying buy you a house, that's going to empower yourself over time, because at that time she was spending $900 a month for a studio apartment. That same amount could have been toward, like, she could have been paying a mortgage, and then she would have locked in real estate costs. I mean, real estate, some path of real estate ownership, had a property in escrow that basically, now would be worth, she would have bought it about 200 then, now $500,000. 600, might even be $600,000. It depends what you would have bought. Like, the property value shot up. Okay, it just did what it did. Like, and then it's like, you're trying to tell people stuff, and then then another thing, what happened even before the market basically skyrocketed, people start making a shit ton of money off of Airbnb. Airbnb started blowing up, man. And then you got people, if you got a regular house, right, a nice house, you could make over $100,000 off that one house a year, renting it out through Airbnb. You got some people, man, they just start buying houses. A lot of young people start doing this. They just start buying houses with the sole purpose to use them for Airbnb. And it's like, man, I mean, oh my God, man, I was so right. And I'm talking about my ex-girlfriend was a fucking Ivy League educated. She had her degree in finance too. It wasn't like, I think it was like mathematics or something like that. Like, she worked for a big financial company. And just me, little old broke ass, fucking college dropout me, gave her the fucking best advice I could have ever given her and given anybody. And she didn't listen. She didn't listen to my advice. And had she done that, I would have made her literally an extra like $300,000 to $400,000. But she thought I was just a dumbass, broke motherfucker that had some good dick. That's what she thought I was. She didn't think that, like, this motherfucker is smart. Like, she knew I was smart though. But sometimes people, they just basically don't value your what you got to say because of your current financial state. Like, if they got more money and kind of more, better financial situation than what you got, and you still smart. I mean, I don't think she think I was a total dumbass. I think she did think to a certain extent, in many ways, I was, dumb in as far as things is concerned. But I don't think she thought overall I was a complete dumbass. But yeah, I mean, the thing is that people discount people because, they don't have their financial situation just like them. It's like, people don't understand, like, even if somebody is like not necessarily don't have a whole bunch of money, it doesn't mean that they don't still have good advice. It's like, it's kind of tripped out, but it's like, you got to understand, like, I also went to school one time for business. My major at one time was business. My grandfather is a businessman. I mean, I learned a lot from my grandfather. And then, I mean, shit, my mom had real estate. My uncles, he had real estate, both of them. My my aunt's husband, he had real estate and stuff like that. So I know the value of real estate. You know what I'm saying? Like, I absolutely know about, like, I don't really, you could say, okay, some people don't know about things or they don't know about certain things. But one of the things I do know is real estate. So it's like she didn't know me that well. She didn't really know me like that. Like, and another thing is, one thing she probably didn't know, I went to school for real estate too. Like, I took a real estate class when I was, like, my first college class was the real estate agents course. Like, that was like my first fucking class in college, because I knew I was gonna be I wanted to be in real estate. Like that, it was no exception that I was gonna be in real estate. Like, that was what I already knew I wanted to be in. So it's like, yeah, I mean, I had some pretty credible educational history to support my advice, but she just didn't take it a value. And I told her, like, yeah, you should. We used to argue about that shit. I'm like, damn, you paying all this goddamn money to live in this building, and it wasn't even no luxury studio. It was just a regular studio apartment at that time. It was in like a ski resort. For all I know, she might be still living there, because I think I talked to her like a few years ago, and she was saying she still lived there. And I'm like, what the fuck? And it's like, the housing market is so high now. It's like, really, she ain't really got no choice now, because when I told her to move, she didn't listen. That was the time to do it. You're talking about 2010, 2011. Shit, that was the time to buy right then. But, women be, basically, they don't be wanting to listen to no dude. They don't want to be under a dude's, fucking covering or whatever, or advice. And they doing stupid shit, and they talking wasteful stuff like this, talking about apartments.
I could find this video. When I first saw it, I was just like, oh, wow, I meant to save it and I forgot to. But she basically followed up and said to make a list of like 5 to 10 things that you always want to be able to do. And so, of course, on her list, she had traveling as one of the things that she enjoys doing throughout the year. Not just one trip a year. She enjoys to frequently travel. But she encouraged other people to come up with a list of their own. So what are 5 to 10 things that you need to always be able to do to make yourself feel happy after working all week, after, going through life all week, and then tailor, your living arrangements to that. She went on to say that she had stainless steel, all the upgraded appliances, but she was looking at apartments and they all had like white refrigerators. But she said to be able to do what she wanted to do, which was travel every other month.
Stainless steel appliances, like a stainless steel refrigerator is like between $500 and like all the way up. You can get a nice premium stainless steel refrigerator for like $1,500. A stove about fucking less than $1,000 or more, depending on how fancy you want the stove to be. I mean, goddamn. Like, that's the silly, it's like, okay, it's like when women, women, some people think women are dumb. I don't think women are dumb. But when I hear shit like this, right, it kind of, and it just kind of goes there. And then you could say, I hate, these, obviously the whole race thing or whatever is definitely, it's definitely as a black woman. I mean, it's like, damn, the fuck. And I don't, I don't get into arguments and all of that shit about IQ. I don't think black people are dumb. I don't think black women are dumb. But this type of shit, it just kind of, it's hard to argue this shit. And this is the average woman in America. This is the average black woman in America. Like, 50, this is what I was talking about, right? 58% of African Americans rent. They're so rent happy and work happy, literally slave happy. Black people are really happy to just be slaves. I hate to say it. I hate to be up, on this motherfucker for like over 2.5 hours. And then I'm just saying shit that is just really off the top of the dome. And it's true. Yeah, black people like to be fucking slaves. And the reason why I say that is they like to rent. What is renting? You're under a landlord, which is damn near like a situation where you are your landlord's slave. You work and you pay your landlord's bills on his property, all because whatever the case may be, you don't know how to get a man that's resourceful, and y'all go 50-50 or whatever and sit down and shut up and just fucking pay the bills together and enjoy each other's company together and have some type of pathway to ownership. Because you definitely you don't own the house. When you go get a house and you go get a mortgage, you don't own it, but you at least have some access to some pathway to ownership. The more you pay on the property, the more, if the house price goes up on the house, the more equity you have on that home. And homes tend to go up in cost, most of the time, right? So the thing is that, they don't want to start no businesses, and black people don't even support black people's businesses. And it's like they just gotta go work a job for somewhere, so much so that they just depended on, like, I say this again, like, I remember I used to just really be like, 100% an employee. Like, I didn't even try to just do anything on a self-employed level or business level or anything like that. I was just like, employee or die. And I never forget waiting months and months, waiting for a job, going on job interviews, and just waiting on that one job to hire me, and not doing nothing else. And it's like, a lot of people do that. And then I wasn't getting unemployment because I think at that time, I quit my job. And I was like, man, just, waiting for another job. I was borrowing money from my mother and all kind, and it was like, after a while, I just was like, started to figure out, okay, I can do this and make some money on the side if I'm in between jobs or if I got more time. And I figured out how to make money, without worrying about if I'm working or not working, and not just sitting around waiting for some job to hire me, and the thing is that, that's just how, a lot of black people I know they're not even talking about business. They're talking about their job or when they gonna get a job and this job and that job and, this remote job and that job. And it's like, damn, you can't open a hotel or nothing, right? You can't start a gas station. You can't, start some type of business, can't buy a house and fix it up. What I just be like, damn, like jobs, like us, all you talk about is getting this job and that job and this job and Bob's at the job and job Bob and Bob job. It's like, damn, man. Like, I'll be like, what the fuck? And it's just like the mindset, just that slave mindset of just, I pay rent, I gotta live in an apartment. And it's like, it's like apartments, I ain't got nothing wrong with them if it's a temporary situation. What a lot of black people do that I notice is they rent apartments long term, or they become long-term renters. You know what I'm saying? Like they have a propensity to rent for a period of over 4 to 5 years. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't like to rent. I mean, they don't like to own any homes. Like they don't, you know what I'm saying? Like they'll rent, they'll become long-term renters. And then they mama never, they probably watch their mama do it and they don't see anything, abnormal about it. Probably the first time they hear anything abnormal is hearing somebody on the internet. You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, it just, just like being comfortable being a slave. It's like, it's just weird to me. Like, it's just, I don't know. People, it's like, I'm willing to go through desperate measures, really severe measures that other people will be like, they're not really willing to do just to avoid not having to pay rent. What's going on, man? He said the fear of side hustles. Oh, it took your whole life to my one good financial decision type of people. Yeah, I mean, having a job, and living in an apartment is like full enslavement because you don't own anything. And then you probably heard this saying before, or this concept before, that people are, all kind of programmed people's mind. They want you to own nothing and be happy. Well, people, that's what they're doing. They you know what I'm saying? Oh, my job, and then my rent. Like, it's like, you literally setting yourself up for, you ain't never gonna get out of that. You can never get out of rent. Ain't no stoppage in rent. With taxes, okay, you got to pay your bill every year. You got to pay your tax bill. You got like 2 years to not pay your tax bill. Depending on where you live, you got a period of time you don't pay your tax bill. Your house will be on the tax auction list, or it'll be up for auction. But even still, when your house up for auction, let's say you actually did that, they don't have the rights to just take your house. You have the opportunity. You have a period of time, even after that, to pay them back plus interest. Whoever bought your houses on the tax auction, you have a redemption period to where if you pay that damn whatever you owed in taxes, you pay it to that person that got the house. That tax auction is no longer it becomes void, because you have a period where you can pay that tax auction bill and basically forego the transfer of your property to the person that won the tax auction. So you still even got periods of time after that. Rent, you got about 2 months. After that second month, you're gonna probably be going to court. You're gonna have a court date. After about 2 months, your ass gonna have a court date. You know what I'm saying? No problem. He said typo. Yeah, my phone does that. I think I turned it off. But yeah, like it's like, man, I mean, shoot. 50 and people talking about 50-50. You got chicks that's talking about 50-50 and they don't even have no man. They don't have no boyfriend and they definitely not married. And they talking about, I don't want no man that's going to pay 50-50. I don't want no roommate. And they don't even have anybody. They're single as a doorknob talking about they don't want no 50-50. And it's like, yeah, you don't have nobody. You 100 because you don't have anybody. You know, and it's like, yeah, man, this shit, all of this stuff is putting you in a situation that you're going to be a slave. You're literally going to be a slave to your job and your landlord. And you know what I'm saying? This live stream, it might wake your ass up. You know, because you ain't probably even heard nobody say no shit like that to you. Yeah, you a 2024 slave if you got a fucking job and you got rent to pay. There's no way out of that. Rent is ongoing. It does not stop ever. You don't get no breaks. You don't get no months. You don't get no years. None of that, bro. That shit don't stop. All because you ain't locked nothing in or whatever. You got rent to pay next month. And it don't never stop. It don't stop. No age it stops. At least if you know, okay, you pay your mortgage a good 20 to 30 years, your house is basically you're gonna stop having to pay. It's going to eventually be a situation where you're gonna have to you won't have to pay anymore. You will own the house. Rent, yeah, it ain't gonna never stop. Every month, I need that. And then they, a lot of people went up on their rent because the housing costs. People sent out, people that own apartments and houses, they sent out a memo. The rent went up. They got to pay that. They have to pay that new cost. They either have to move out or pay that new cost of that rent. And people had to do it because, everything went up. Housing costs went up, rent went up. And they had to pay it. It didn't matter. It didn't matter if they didn't like it or whatever. They had two choices: either move or pay that new amount more in rent. And a lot of people just paid the amount and complained about it, And it's like, okay, why didn't you just go get a house? You got your credit is still decent. You got the down payment every year. A lot of people get tax refunds. And it's like, man, I don't really care. Like, you think I care? Like, I'm not trying to sell anybody. I'm just saying, damn, it is what it is. You're in a situation where you in slavery and you don't even know about it. You don't even know about it because you just didn't know. I play chess, man. That's kingdom against kingdoms. I know about kingdoms. I know about European history of the monarchy system. I know about African, the monarchs in Africa. I know about monarchs in Egypt. They had a different type of system. They had ministers or priestess, pharaohs, priestess, scribes, soldiers. You know, I mean, it had like a different type of structure, but yeah, you absolutely like they had lords in Europe. Like the lord was a large landowner. You know, it's like, okay, you got barons, the barons, they own large swaths of land. And then basically the serfs lived on the land and they had to pay for living on that land. Or they had to grow crops on the land, and the landowner or landlord had to they would get a portion of those crops for free for you know, basically because they own the land, and that was a part of the agreement. That's why people came to America. That's why people was happy to come to America. They was trying to get away from their masters, their earthly masters, you know, their lords, you know. You know what I'm saying? They was trying to get away. And they went to war with them. They, you know, went to war with the English monarchy because they were trying to have their own freedom in this new country they call, you know, America. They had to go to war with basically their masters. And then here it is today. Your mama and daddy didn't tell you you was a slave if you work jobs and you rent and you don't own your home. You don't own your land. And you thought I was just a dumb nigga that bought some property in Gary, Indiana because I was just a dumb nigga. No, not at all. I see the big picture. I don't care how difficult it is, like, to own some property. I don't give a fuck. If I had to move in Compton, California, when Eazy-E was alive, I would have done it if that was what I could afford. And now you got Compton properties. People can't even afford to live in Compton. I mean, well, the Mexicans took over, but shit, you can't even afford Compton no more. I mean, I saw the big picture, man. You ain't gonna never own no apartment. You gonna never own that shit. Even people say rent to own properties are not. I'm the one to tell you rent to own properties, you know, stay away from that shit. Avoid it if you can. And if you do choose to use a rent to own or mess with rent to own, this is what you do. I got a video on it. It's in my video archives. If I'm telling you avoid rent to owns, do you think I would tell you to avoid rentals too? Hell yeah, I would. A rental is worse than a rent to own. If I say avoid rent to owns, why would I tell you anything otherwise about just general overall rentals? If that's what I'm telling you, try to avoid rent to owns. Why would I tell you anything different about a regular rental that's not a rent to own? You think that I would big that up, or I would really seriously promote that? That makes absolutely no sense. Of course I despise rentals as well as rent to owns. Of course. That's obvious. And I did that about 4 years ago. Avoid rent to owns. And at least a rent to own, what a rent to own is good for, though, is, okay, let's say a house is 75 grand. A rent to own would be like, I put about 5,000 down. Your payment is going to be, you know, $800 a month or something like that, right? And the remaining balance of the property is $70,000. You can go get a loan and get, $70,000 and you can own that house. You have an actual right of ownership. You have a rent to own agreement that's valid by the court system. It's valid. It's an actual valid document. You get 60 grand, you give that to the owner of the house, you own that property. Every month you pay, a portion of that goes toward the balance of what you owe of that $70,000. Whatever is, and that's already in the contract in the rent to own agreement. Yeah. I mean, it's a possible way you can procure that property. You can even resell the property. You can put the house, fix it up, make sure it's nice, put it on the market for $140,000. You will have to have some type of agreement with the owner of the house. But yeah, you put that house on the market for $140,000. The owner on record will show up to the title company. They will sign over, and then you'll sign your document. Once you sell that property, it'll be like a wholesale agreement where you basically gonna get an assignment of, whatever less you owe on the property over what you're selling it for. The person that you sell a property for, they're buying it for, said price, whatever over that value of the amount you owe, you're getting a check for that. So it'll be like a double closing. So they basically it wouldn't be no double closing. It'll probably most likely be a double closing. You have to go to a title company to see if they do double closing, because basically what will happen is that it might not have to be a double closing, but it might be. And what will happen is, the reason why I say it will probably work out where it would be a double closing in that sense, because you would need to get, and there's companies that give funding too for double closings. They literally give you money to buy a property real quick within a day and closing, and they'll charge you so much points or whatever to give you that money just so you can double close. So for example, let's say you need $65,000 to do basically to buy the house, and the house will be in your name that quick, right? So they'll give you that funding for that 65 grand, and then you're going to close on that house. Now the house is in your name. Then you're going to close again on the buyer of the property that you sold it to, the original person that you sold the property to. So the first closing was to close out to the rent-to-own company that you were renting for. Then the second closing would be for the person that you sold the property for. And there's people that do double closings every day. Like, it's certain scenarios where it makes sense to do a double closing, because it's certain situations, like a rent to own is probably one of those situations where you probably will have to do a double closing. And there's hard money lenders that, provide that private funding. They provide that service. I don't know how much they'll charge you. I don't know. But yeah, they'll provide the funding, for like 48 hours or whatever, and then charge you for giving you that money, I don't know, so many points, so many interests or whatever. But yeah, I mean, the thing is like a rent to own, I'm like, okay, I don't recommend it, but if it's a good deal and the property makes sense, I mean, you absolutely want the property, it's not that bad as, you know, renting, because renting ain't no rental agreement, or as far, I mean, it's a rental agreement, but ain't no rent to own agreement. The rental agreement is have the money by the first every month at this said amount in perpetuity. Like, that's what that is. Like, you know, rent to own is, it is a pathway to ownership. It's not an easy pathway to ownership, because the difference between a rent to own and ideally what I had to buy my house that I'm, you know, sitting in my office and talking to you on right now, was that I had a seller financing contract. And that's better than a rent to own, because all of your money that you putting into the house that you paying on is going towards the purchase, like the full purchase. You know, the guy that I bought this house from, he charged me a certain amount of interest. So, you know, it was like the you know, interest, a certain level as far as the amount of money that I had to spend on interest. But the thing is that the money that I every month that I paid him, it was going towards what I owed him. With rent to owns, it'll be a situation where, okay, you owe, let's just say, like $70,000 on the property. The house was $75,000. Usually what it'll be cheaper if you pay cash, but they'll have a cash amount and then they'll have like a rent to own amount. You know, the rent to own amount will probably be double, if not triple or more, than what the actual, you know, cash sale price of the home is. But regardless of that, you know, you set up the paperwork and everything. The amount that you have to pay is $70,000 minus the $5,000 you put down on the house. Well, out of that, let's just say your payments is $800 a month. Well, all of that is not going towards that $70,000. A good portion of that is going towards your taxes and your insurance on the home. And basically, let's say out of that $800 payment, they might only just credit you $150 a month towards the purchase price, which is like pennies, you know, on the like very small amounts. You know, less than, I mean, a whole year, you gotta think about it. Like a whole year, you put less than $2,000 off of the purchase price of that home. You know, so it's like it's a very slow, you know, it's taking a small portion off, but it's very little impact on trying to own the home. So it you know, in most cases you'll never own the home that way. So what people typically do with rent to owns is they basically they buy the house. They get a mortgage on the house for what they, you know, owe on the original rent to own agreement. Then they just get a mortgage, a traditional mortgage on the home, and that's how they own it. Or if they come up with the cash, miraculously or not, or whatever, they just basically pay it out. They pay it out, whatever they owe, and that's typically what people do with rent to owns. If they try to purchase try to get the house, you know, they don't. It's never a situation where they own the home from paying rent, because it's just not designed that way. You know, for them to own the house from paying rent, it'll take them too long to be able to do that. So what typically happens is, a person just they rents there and then they move on and they don't never purchase the house. They don't never, pay the house off either. So it's situations a lot of times where it's just another way for a person to make more money than just paying, than the average rent payer. And it's a benefit to the owner because a rent to own is considered like ownership. You own that house. So you're responsible for, the tenant is responsible for fixing up the house, upkeep and everything, so it's like, it's kind of it's an old way of, a landlord kind of making money and giving the opportunity for the person to definitely own the house. But in most cases, the situation is the person can't afford the property in the first place, and then they just end up renting and then they move on. You know what I'm saying? That's just typically how that happens. But it's not that bad because it is a possible way you can own the home. Renting, just straight renting, oh, hell no. Ain't no way you gonna own that motherfucking property unless you buy the whole entire property. Like, and the landlord offers, you to be able to do that. And most people ain't doing that. That's like damn near a fairy tale. That's a renter, a traditional renter buys the property. Like that rarely happens, if the landlord actually even wants to sell the property. And then what make you think this person is renting has some money to buy a whole fucking property? You know what I'm saying? So it's just not how that typically goes. And it's like, yeah, I mean, maybe I haven't really stated that, but it should be obvious. Like I said, if I said avoid rent to owns, why would I say not avoid rentals? It just kind of goes with that. It's like if I said stay away from whores, do you really think I would, be like, okay, thoughts are cool. Like, don't avoid them either. Like, you might want to avoid, whores and hoes. The only difference between a hoe is a hoe she don't charge you, for sex. She has sex for free. A whore charges you for sex. Like, I mean, I wouldn't be like, okay, yeah, hoes are cool and whores, avoid whores. You might want to avoid all hoes and whores. That's basically what I'm saying, man. That's kind of the gist of the concept. We kind of being graphic, but yeah, like, you gotta be, man, this shit is about ownership, man. All this shit is based off of ownership. If people ain't talking about ownership, assets primarily, most of the time, if they not, they most likely broke. I mean, it just is what it is. Like, this shit is based off of ownership. If you ain't in a path of ownership, and that goes for anything, you're playing a different game. And the game that you're playing is a game of poor people in poverty. That's what you're playing. Because people that came over here that was trying to go from Europe to fucking America or whatever, they was trying to own as much as they could possibly can, including other humans. And the thing is that, okay, they might not have chattel slavery anymore, but they have financial slavery. And that slavery is invisible. The chains are invisible. The chains may be the chains of your bank account and your paycheck. Because, like, man, one of the things that you don't probably notice about immigrants immigrants are real particular about their fucking money. And the reason why they're very particular about money is because where they're from didn't have that much access to money. You know, a lot of immigrants, one of the main reasons they're over here is to make money. That's the main objective. All the other stuff is like secondary, you know, and other different, you know, levels of objectives. But the main objective is to make money and to make as much as possible and to save as much as possible. And it's like, yeah, a lot of them do really good at that. You know, you look at their wallet, they got a bank card, Citibank card, and, you know, fucking Bank of America card, Amex, you know, bunch of cash in there. You could tell they don't have to want for nothing. You know, and it's like, yeah, they real particular about money. The thing is that, you know, it's just a mindset. It's like, okay, do you want to be rich or do you want to make other people rich? If you want to make other people rich, okay, God bless you. But okay, if you want to be rich, how do you be rich? You got to enrich yourself, you know, ideally by any means necessary. Okay, what is any means necessary? However you can. If you got like I crossed state lines, I had to cross state lines. I was in Illinois. I went to a whole nother state that was controversial as fuck. At one time, it was the murder capital of the United States. Why? Because it was a good deal. And it was like basically a place that I can go and anywhere I went, or I would have not have to worry about paying no fucking rent. At least if I didn't do anything, if I ever just only wanted, if I only owned one house ever, and I never was able to get any more houses, I dealt with the problem right there, where I ain't have to worry about no rent and also no mortgage. Because mortgage is is probably the least of the things I hate as far as, you know, you can say rent, mortgage, or I'll say, okay, out of like the three things I don't like about, you know, paying for houses, let's just put it at 4. Okay, number 1 definitely is rent. I despise rent. Okay, I just despise it. For anything longer than a year, 2 years, it's like, what the fuck? You know, I just can't really understand it. Like, okay, if you gotta wait for your house to be built, you gotta wait for your house to be renovated. Okay, yeah, I can understand living in an apartment. Okay, fine. You just move somewhere else, you move to a different state, or you got a job somewhere. Okay, living in an apartment 2 years or a year or whatever. Okay, that's fine. Okay, till you can find, you know, some place where you want to really live, whatever, in this new environment. Okay, fine. All right. But I get that. But anything longer than that, nah. I just wasting your money down the drain. That's why people like living in RVs and living in vans and, you know, all that type of stuff. Like, I don't never criticize people like that, because I know why people do that. You know, Robert Kiyosaki and his wife, they was living in a RV or a van or something. And it's like, yeah, I mean, that's one of the biggest expenses most people have is housing. Some people spend, if you spend over 50% of your income on housing, you consider house poor. And the thing is that, yeah, people do all of those measures because, yeah, housing is a big cost. you know, and in order to save that money to be able to purchase some property, desperate situations or measures some people have done. I mean, fortunately for me, I haven't had to sleep in a van or an RV. I just had to buy some real estate where I can afford, and I didn't really have that much money at the time, so it's all I could afford. You know, a lot of people are not willing to do that. You know, and I understand. I mean, if you definitely have children, I understand. I mean, I guess I could more or less understand if you have kids not living somewhere where might be a higher propensity to violence and stuff like that. But you know, the thing is that okay, what's the long term pros and cons? Okay, yeah, I mean safety first and so on and so forth. But okay, what happens when you lose your job and you got to pay rent? That's a different circumstance. Even if you had a mortgage, you lose your job, you have about 5 to 6 months to fully go through a situation where you go through a foreclosure. You might be able to do a short sale. A market like this, you could probably do a short sale where you can avoid a foreclosure situation, or sell a house real quick, put the house on the market and sell it. And then, you know, you got time where you ain't gonna necessarily, you know, have to go through foreclosure. Worst case scenario, you go through foreclosure. You got 6 months. You ain't gotta worry about paying rent. In a apartment, and you got about a month before like this month 2 comes, and then you got a court date where you're showing up to court, and you got an eviction date after that court date. So you got about a couple months before, you know, basically you're evicted. You know what I'm saying? You got some sheriffs knocking at your door. Well, with a house, you have a little bit more time if you got a mortgage. You know, I mean, definitely if you got, you know, you own your home, you got about a good 2 years before the county, you know, kicks you out your house for not paying your taxes. So you just got a longer period. Still got to pay. But I say, like, yeah, out of the 4, number 1, I don't like rent, definitely. Number 2 is rent to own. 3rd is a mortgage, and definitely number 4 is taxes. I mean, shit. Still, no matter what you do, you got to pay them damn taxes. You know, I got to look up a tax-free state. You know, I don't know if there's any tax-free states. I think in certain countries you don't have to pay no taxes or whatever. But yeah, those are the things that I don't like as far as real estate. But I mean, mortgage is probably the second to last, because I mean, at the very least, I mean, shit, you have some pathway to ownership of that property. You can get, man, they still have 5-year mortgages, they got 10-year mortgages, and they got 15-year and 30-year. Man, you can get a 5-year mortgage. Your mortgage is 5 years, and shit, you can pay your house off in 5 years. I mean, your actual mortgage payment will probably be high as hell, you know, depending on the property value and all that. But and they got 5-year mortgages, 10-year, and 15-year mortgages. You don't have to have no 30-year mortgage. You know, it's just things that people just don't think about, you know. People don't know about, you know. It's like, and then a car, I don't even think about cars. I just think about real estate. Like, a car is shit. Like, I mean, you know, of course, it's cars that, you know, people can't afford. I ain't gonna say, I ain't no different. I can't afford it. I can't afford no Ferrari and Lamborghini and all of that type of shit. But who gives a fuck? I don't need that. Like I mean, an average everyday car, a Toyota Camry, a Honda Accord, a Nissan. You know, I got a Nissan, a fucking Dodge 1500 pickup. Like that's more than enough to do whatever you need to do. Like, I mean, you know, you can get that shit later when you make more money if you want, you know, and that's certainly in my plans. You know, it's certainly in my millionaire savings plan is definitely Lamborghini. But I ain't worried about that shit now. Hell no. You know, I mean, I'll eventually get the cars that I want. They're part of my plan, but yeah, I don't think about that. I just think about real estate. That's mainly what I think about because that's how you make money. You make money in real estate. I don't think about no damn cars. I don't give a fuck about no goddamn car. I'm thinking about big ass houses, small houses, you know, mansions and shit like that, man. And beyond. I'm not thinking about. You think I'm thinking about no goddamn cars? Like the fuck? Give a fuck about no goddamn cars. All this real estate, all these houses and everything, and you know, the cost of them. You know, worrying about a freaking car. Fuck. Man, ain't worried about no damn car, man. Cars are like I don't even look at cars like other people. I used to look at cars like that. I was like, damn, this cars, all these cars. Damn, I want a car so bad. Man, then the older I got and I started, realizing how much rent was kicking my ass and other people's asses. And then trying to figure out how to get, it was hard to get a mortgage and trying to figure out how to get a mortgage. I ain't never got a mortgage, and it's like, once I figured out how hard it was to get real estate and how complicated that was and, how valuable that was, I just got really, really, it was a point where I was obsessed with real estate. I was absolutely obsessed. And that same obsession I had with cars, it just was like, okay, it got less of a big deal to where I was just trying to deal with real estate. I was trying to deal with these houses, and it was like the cars, like, what? You get any car that you want, like, as long as that damn thing runs, as long as it don't stop on you while you're driving, that's good enough for me until I get my next house and my next house. And then shit, cars really won't be no problem. When you got like 3 houses, you start building a real estate portfolio, a car will not be no concern. Whatever car you want a Corvette, you want a Ferrari, you want a Bentley, Maserati, whatever the hell car you want, exotic or otherwise, you can get it. He can just whip out your checkbook, negotiate a good price, and that's it. You gonna get so many houses that cars really won't even be no problem. Then just you scale it. You like okay, I need get a yacht, move to Florida. Okay, get a bigger yacht, get a private jet. You know what I'm saying? Like it'd be like bigger things that to worry about or concern yourself about than a damn car. You know what I'm saying? Like there's watches and chains that cost more than cars. You know what I'm saying? They got diamond necklaces and diamond and gold necklaces like 50 grand. And, man, nobody worried about no damn car, man. Shit. All of the cars out now, a lot of times I end up getting used cars that, just, time pass and you know, just got cheaper. It's like, damn, okay, I got this Tesla truck, you know, it's 5 years old now. I finally got around to getting one. It's like, man, I don't give a shit, man, about no damn cars, man. Right now, like, hell no. It's like, I don't think anybody should be worried about no cars. You should be worried about real estate. You know what I'm saying? Buy some damn real estate shit. Have you a place to live instead of having a Dodge Hellcat sleeping in the same bedroom you grew up as a child with your mama. Yelling at you, talking about, you know what I'm saying, calling you by your name like you in grammar school or high school. Like, that's you know, that's what if you want to worry about a car, you know, that if you're willing to deal with all of that type of stuff, like your mama telling you to take the garbage out, yelling at you to take out the garbage, you know, in your 20s and 30s or 40s. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, go be my guest. What you want to have? You want to have a Lambo living with mama, or, you know, a 2012, you know, car in the driveway of your house, of your, you know what I'm saying, your house you fixing up or whatever, or your actual house that's, you know, fully renovated. Man, I can have a 90s car in the driveway of my house. You know what I'm saying? As, you know, my nice regular house, bungalow, whatever. You know, I get another car later. Shoot, I got 3 cars. I got so many cars. I don't even have it. I can't even fit them all in my driveway. I gotta park cars on the street. Think I give a fuck about no goddamn car. When I moved in my house, man, I had 1 car. And then I think one of them, the engine blew. Then the other one, the engine blew, I think, yeah. You know, it's like, man, I'm worried about no damn cars, man. Shit, when you start fixing up houses, man, see how expensive that is and how much that costs. A car ain't gonna fixing a car up ain't gonna be nothing. No, until you getting now you can get into exotic cars. Like, okay, you want to go that route? Okay, yeah, try. You know, you can go buy a cheap a Ferrari from a salvage yard or insurance auction. You know, like what's that dude, Sam Crack? So if you really, you know, follow car channels, like that's what he does. He goes and buy these exotic cars, but they still be expensive. Like, you can get a salvage Lamborghini for like 25 grand, but you got to fix up a salvage Lamborghini that, you know, car parts is like crazy expensive because it's a Lamborghini. You know, you gotta do body work and you gotta swap out an engine. You know, try to buy a Lamborghini engine. Like, how much does that cost? You know what I'm saying? Like how can you? You know what I'm saying? The parts are way more expensive. Even if you did the work, the parts are expensive. So it's like, yeah, that's expensive. You know, that's expensive. You know what I'm saying? Like, I restored a Benz truck. That was like, I spent about $5 grand on that. It wasn't that difficult. I mean, at that time, I mean, I had money. I was saved. It was before I had my house, and I saved like I had like over $10,000. You know, I was just saving money, but that, you know, that's not nothing to some people. Some people have a lot of money, like they have like $100,000. Like, couple $100,000, more than that. Like, you know, some people good with money, you know. Some people even got money like that and they still rent. You know, for whatever reason, they just still rent. You know what I'm saying? Like they look at it like, I know women don't really like houses like that, especially when they single. They don't really like houses like that. They'll live in an apartment because I think in women's mind, they like, if I'm not married and I don't have a husband, why do I need a house? You know, but I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of like social. It's like social, like kind of like the way people are constructed to think. You know, social think or group think. You know, people think, okay, you know, I'm not supposed to do this. You know, people don't go to the show to go see a movie by themselves. Very few people do that. Most people idea of going to the movies is, you know, taking their kids or, you know, family and going on a date with someone. Going to the movies by yourself, you know, some people don't even like going to a restaurant by themselves, you know, or they'll go to the restaurant and sit at the bar. You know, that's what you do if you don't have a date, right? Go sit at the bar of the restaurant. So it's like, yeah, people are just socially accustomed to do certain things. And it's like, yeah, a lot of women, they feel like if they don't have a husband, they don't think to buy any real estate, buy any houses or anything like that. If they do buy something, they probably buy a condo, because a condo is kind of like an apartment. You know, it's got, you know, type of apartment living. But yeah, it's, you know, it's just some things I had on my mind. I'm gonna get off of here. I guess some people were listening to me, you know, babble. You know, talked about some stuff, man. I talked about some high level stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? Some elite conversation. You know what I'm saying? Not the typical stuff, but the stuff that's gonna make you, you know, a rich person one day. You know what I'm saying? Because you got laced with the game. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, if you got more money, a lot of stuff kind of resolves itself if you got more money. You know, it's just, I mean, not everybody, like, okay, you know, some people are just, if you just stuck and shit like that, yeah, money ain't gonna help you, you know, and all of that. But if you know, certain people, yeah, if they get money, their life is enhanced. You know, they can move better. They can, and yeah, you can, like, for men, okay, I don't know about women. I ain't gonna say women are the same. It's like differences. Women, when they get money, it kind of like sometimes it tends to work against them. Like they not gonna, that money enhancing them, that they're gonna, you know, it's kind of like they're gonna get men that, you know, kind of don't make the same money they have. So they put themselves in situations where they're like a provider because they got more money. But when a man gets more money, it enhances him because, you know, women are attracted to men with money. And the more, you know, more that you have. And I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm not saying, okay, yeah, you could go get more gold diggers or nothing. Nah. I mean, you basically, it's just, you can move totally different because you got a totally different lifestyle. Like you got, just, you know, 500 grand in the bank, man, you can go wherever you want. How about that? Like, okay, if you have $5,000 in the bank, like, okay, yeah, you can move a little bit or whatever, But having $500,000 in your bank, you're totally moving different. I mean, it's a totally different level of movement. And I'm not talking about, okay, you got $5,000 in the bank. You know, yeah, you can go to the cigar lounge and you can go hang out. Yeah, you can go golfing. You know, you can do a little bit. But when you got $500,000, I mean, you can literally go wherever you want. You literally go, okay, go to Uber. You can go on, you know, Priceline.com. You can order a ticket anywhere you want to pretty much go. You know, as long as you got a passport within that time frame. Like literally, right? You can order a day trip, you know, fly out the next flight wherever you're trying to go, and you're gone. It's no thoughts about it. Just gone. That's the, you know, ideally, given the fact if you don't have children, if you got children and stuff like that, you can go to Disney World. You can go, you know, they got family trips. You can go and stuff like that. Like, you know, depending on if you only got $5,000, you go take a car ride or something like that somewhere to the next state over, you know. But yeah, you can just, you know, if you're a single man or whatever, yeah, you can move different. You can move totally different. You can move totally different than if you didn't have that reality. If you just, you know, didn't have that amount of money. And I'm not saying, see, the people are so associated with men having money being tricks and you know, or even worse than that, you know. And it's like, I'm not speaking from no perspective of you getting more money, you just gonna be some big trick to gold digger women. No, I'm saying like if a dude had you know, maybe a background of being a ladies' man, being like even a player, or you know, just a regular guy that has, you know, had some fair number of successes with women. When you get more money, or a guy like that get more money, I mean, to be honest, like society really doesn't. I'm gonna be honest, like in many regards, men like that, society doesn't like the other men of society doesn't necessarily want those men to have money. If you want to really go really deep with it, because those men, even men like that don't even really have the money and still have fairly enough success with women. Imagine if they got money. That means they're gonna have even more successes with women. And that's why, like, other men, you know, basically are very competitive. They don't, you know, they are, you know what I'm saying? They don't want to have, you know, don't want you to come up, want to try to drag you down and all that type of stuff. Because yeah, you're already exceptional with low amounts of capital. Oh, you get more capital? Oh shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, all right. You know, whatever, you know, shit, forget one girlfriend. How about, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you know, it's like whatever, you know what I'm saying, you can handle. But you know, it's like, okay, I'm talking about that. It's like for a young guy. I mean, I'm too old for all that shit. But the thing is that, you know, some people, I ain't gonna lie. There's a lot of dudes, they do have money and they like, you know, they have problems. They had problems with women before they had money, and they become suckers with a whole bunch of money, you know. And it's like, yeah, you know, and they make it bad for other men. Yeah, they absolutely make it bad for other men, and then they, you know, women have a perception from that experiences with, you know, guys that do have money. Oh, this dude, yeah, I could just, you know, I can just, you know, say something and get his money or whatever, and you know, do whatever I want. It's like, no, You know, I don't. I mean, that's more. See, it's not even about the money in that situation. With those guys that do that, like the simps and shit like that, the super simps. You know, you got like simps. Like, okay, you got the simp. You got simp kings. You got simp commanders. You know, and you know, regular simps. You know, and it's like this simp army, right? And it's like, yeah, I mean, certain simps, a lot of simps, right? It's a behavioral mindset. What makes you a simp, what makes a man a simp is a behavioral mindset. He basically he is it kind of goes into kind of being like having low self-esteem. He overvalues women because he thinks women are above himself, or certain types of women are above himself. So that's one of the reasons why he overvalues women. So when he gets money, you know, he was already on a basic level before he got the money. The dude that gives flowers and candies and, you know, on the first date and all that type of goofy shit, you know, to a chick that already has the nut. She has the nut of her other boyfriend that she's with, but she's not fully satisfied, so she's still dating other men, or he's dating other women that she know about, but still fucking them and still going on dates. And you just gave her some flowers and candy on your first date, and she got and she got the nut. She literally just got nutted in before she went on a date with your ass. And it's like, yeah, like you know, you go into situations like, yeah, just how things are, because you're not screening the chick, because you just so overvalue women that you don't even think about screening them. And it's like, yeah, you know, you get involved in stuff like that. You know, it's just like, okay, it becomes a situation where things go even further to where you know, women are asking you for things like paying their bills and all this other stuff. And, you know, it's just like, okay, just you're overpaying, you know, for, you know, situations just to be with that woman. And it's women that, you know, they getting coached up. They getting taught by other women to do this. And yeah, you fall for it because I mean, it just, you know, you were doing it on a small base level at wherever you was making. Like if you was just a regular earner or you had a good job, you were already tricking on dates, buying chick stuff, paying chicks to have sex with you. When you get more money because you didn't change the mindset, like, okay, let's say you're a millionaire or close to it, you still have that same mindset. Now you got more money. Now you paying more money. It's a mindset. So it's like, okay, when people hear me talking about, okay, you can make more money and you can have more access and this, that, and the other, and have better, even probably better, you know, interactions with women. Most people thinking it from a trick type of mindset. And it's like, I don't have that mindset. That's not what I'm speaking about. You know, I don't have that simp mindset. Like I you know, the trick mindset. Nah, hell no. Like, I mean, if you got a woman and you really like your woman and you got money, of course. I mean, I'm talking about she doing everything. She's fucking like she's your fucking damn near your slave. Like, yeah, you gonna buy stuff for her. You gonna do, yeah, that's fine. But what I'm talking about, this is what simps do, right? A simp, he gonna get totally disrespected. He gonna get parts or portions of sex. Like women will just, you know, you know what I'm saying? Like give him portions of sex like it's a piece of meat, like it's a snack, you know, a candy bar or some shit. And then, you know, he barely is getting any sexual access. You can tell that this woman is hesitant to even be with him. She's asking for everything because she's really with him for money. Yeah, it's a simp. That's a totally different experience. Totally different experience. Like when you got a woman that wants you more than you even want her, and she truly legitimately wants you for, you know, like, I mean, that might be hard to get. Like some guys complain about that. That's extremely wealthy and well known. Like I remember, what was that music producer? He had a record company with Ja Rule. I forgot dude's name. Murder Inc. He was like the president of Murder Inc. I forgot that light-skinned dude's name. I forgot his name, but he was saying it's hard for him to find women because they already know he's rich and famous. So he can't truly find nobody that really legitimately wants him for who he is, or just a genuine, type of love interest or anything like that. Because women, damn near all of the women know who he is, so it's like trying to, Irv Gotti, like they already know who he is, so he can't really have no regular relationship with women because they already know he's got money. They know he's famous. So it's like, it's kind of difficult when you're on that level, when you become like 100 octane. If you become 100 octane, man, that's because that I ain't gonna lie, that situation becomes a lot more, it becomes a lot more complicated. Even 100 octane, or let's just even say when you become rich, it's kind of like you are 100 octane. Like when you become a multimillionaire, it's kind of like you become 100 octane because you're not famous, but you're rich. You can't, like, that's why the rich and famous are synonymous with one another. So a lot of people that are famous and rich, they have friends typically that are also are rich but not famous, because a lot of famous people get broke and they get rich and they get famous, and they get broke and they need people to help them out. Who you think helping them out? They friends or the people in their entourage. They not helping them out. They're other people that they know that are rich are bailing them out, helping them out and shit like that. So when you actually, and this is another thing people don't really talk about, like when you actually become rich, you intermingle and you're, at parties and events and stuff like that with basically famous people that are rich. So in essence, that's why a lot of people also are obsessed about money and stuff like that, because basically you being rich is a way for you to actually be kind of like in that being 100 octane, because you get around a lot of famous people. You're known. You even become known. Even become, to be honest, kind of famous yourself. But most times people that are rich don't necessarily become famous, but you are in that mix because a lot of famous people are rich, and you're in the room. You're in the same room. You're in the same, basically club. So it's like, yeah, I mean, it kind of goes there when you get that, large sums of money and stuff like that, large sums of capital, or you get in the neighborhood. You're able to fit into the neighborhood. You're able to buy some property in an upper class neighborhood, is known for, certain famous people to live there. You, by proxy of location, an environment and kind of just being around other rich people and then also famous people, you get intertwined into that. You know, it's kind of a way where you become like on a level where you're 100 octane. And what I mean by that, let me show this here. This BGS Sidmore's octane scales. Wait, that's not it. Yeah, right here. Because you're not necessarily 92 octane. When you become rich, you're in the mix of 100 octanes. You're not necessarily famous. Not necessarily famous, but you're rich. So you're basically intertwined with the famous. So yeah, I mean that's why people are really, really, one of the reasons why people are very, even you could say people commit, some rich people commit suicide when they lose their money or they're having financial problems and all that type of stuff, because it's like they're going to be a normie again. And that was the only way that they could even get into the room was to have that money, So yeah, it's a lot. I pretty much kind of said a lot tonight. I'm gonna be getting off of here. I want to do longer live streams than even this. But I ain't necessarily, I'll have to kind of slide into that. But that's a way, it's a way you can kind of, get your monetization up if you go longer. If you do, that's one of the reasons why people do these long live streams. It's a way for you to get your watch time hours up. But I don't have I don't have it in me to do 8-hour and longer live streams. I just don't even have it. And I don't know. I mean, I don't really get that much participation. But let me finish, before I close, let me finish playing this video here, because I left Sister Girl hanging.
That was something she was willing to sacrifice. I definitely think that's a good strategy. And for me, that's something that I've been kind of working on. What is it that I want to always be able to do, whether I'm making $50,000 a year or $500,000 a year? What is something that I need to keep me happy? Everyone's going to have a different list. Some people might be like, I just want to be able to DoorDash food and not worry about the extra fees on Friday. Some people might be like, I just want to go out for a couple drinks every week with my friend. And for some people, it's like, I need to be able to travel every 2 to 3 months. Whatever your list is, then tailor that and then look at different ways in your life that maybe you could scale back. And I think for a lot of people, that would be the living arrangement. If I can find the video, I'll definitely keep looking. I looked everywhere for her video, but this video reminded me so much of that video because, a lot of people say like, well, how are y'all getting by? How are you? And it's like staying put, living below our means.
What are you guys doing?
Okay. Yeah, that's some good information though to write down a list of things you absolutely need. Like for me, I ain't gonna lie, that'd be a very short list. I mean, I don't really need that much. I really don't. I just don't. I don't really need that much. I got everything I need, for the most part. I don't really, I'm a man of stoicism, and it don't really take that much to make me happy. I ain't gonna lie. It just don't. Some people need to be outside. They need to kick it every night and, kick it every now and again and stuff like that. I don't need that. I don't need that excitement. It doesn't take that much to excite me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just dope, man. But, anyway, I'm gonna get off of here.